Hi everybody, welcome to That's Football. I'm Mark Goldbridge and I'm bloody fuming. I really am. I can't speak. I want to speak, but I can't speak. It's absolutely bloody ridiculous. Martinez, Manchester United, has been out all season, comes back from an injury and he's bloody out again. He's out again. Started the season with two... he barely started the season. He came back in January. He played a game and a half. He got injured. He came on for 20 minutes at the weekend and he's out for another month. I can't bloody speak, look, Glennis. I can't speak, Betty. It's absolutely bloody ridiculous. I tell you what, if you're trying to sack Ten Hag, you're a bloody idiot. This season's cursed. It's been bloody cursed. Martinez out. Third injury. Phil Jones was fitting more than he was. Bloody hell, man. Come on. Gets to a point where you're an absolute moron if you're trying to sack Ten Hag when we've had this many injuries. It's absolutely bloody ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Lindelof's out for a month. Martinez is out for a month. Varane might be injured as well. For God's sake, mate. For God's sake. They rushed him back, did they, Junior? Yeah, I seem to think he went to Argentina to train with their national team. If anyone rushed themselves back, it wasn't Man United this time. Our fitness department's a joke, but he was training with Argentina in South America over the international break. So, you know what? I don't think we can start saying we rushed him back. Bloody hell. Bloody hell. The game has started. That's why I've done the clock there, Barris, yes. Varys is trying to tell us the game started. Yeah, that's why that clock thing started moving, mate. Yeah, the game has started. Anyway, look, yeah, that's where we're at with that. Absolutely incredible. Just in relation to the games at the moment, Forest are beating Fulham 2-0. Fulham getting battered on the road again. And Newcastle are beating Everton 1-0. Everton are absolutely shit at the moment. Olu says, can we agree if we have injuries next year, we keep him for another year? Mate, I think you're being a bit pedantic there. Look at Liverpool last year with all their injuries. They didn't get in the Champions League. They didn't get in a title race. If you think in the modern game you can be missing key players every fucking week, and you can never put your best team out, and then you expect to be in the top four, you're a bloody idiot. You all right, Mark? Predictions for tonight, says Josh. That medical department need an urgent address. Remember they wanted to bring Casemiro early, says Nigel. Yeah, do we have concerns over Martinez now? It's 3 injuries, separate injuries, in 1 year, which is incredible, yeah. West Ham Spurs, big game, actually. We've got 4 games going on tonight, and we must and will keep you up to date with all of them. We do have a general score system for you where you can see the results going round live as they happen, which is there for you on the screen now. Big shout out to OneFootball for sponsoring our stats carousel. Download it for free in the link in the description. But as you can see, Bournemouth are playing Crystal Palace as well as Burnley Wolves. They're still 0-0. This is a slightly later kickoff. We'll be covering Villa against Man City at Man City tomorrow. But this is a London derby. I would say Spurs will win this game, but West Ham did play very well against Newcastle and ended up with nothing. So they may well, feel that they want to, bounce back today at home. Team news for both these teams. Lineups are as follows. Fabianski, Kufel, Mavropanos, Zuma and Emerson. Soucek, Ward-Prowse and Paqueta. Kudus, Bowen and Antonio. Interestingly, on the bench, they do have Calvin Phillips. I don't know what's happened to Alvarez. I think he might be injured, but he's a big player for them. Also, could have been 1-0 there. Bowen, who I've got in Goldbridge, misses. Typical. Bloody Wood scores for Will. Anyway, our Spurs line up with Vicario, Porro, Romero. Van der Ben's back again. I mean, he got back from injury very quickly. That's a massive positive for Spurs. Adogi, Basuma, Bentancur and Maddison. Johnson, Werner and Son. And a very strong bench for Spurs. Højbjerg, Dragusin, Richarlison, Royal, Lo Celso, Kulusevski, Sarr and Davies. So Spurs for me are looking absolutely nailed on for top 4, I think. This medical department needs to bugger off, says Darcy. Hoyland ×3 on Thursday. Come on, United. Yeah, if you're just tuning in and you are a United fan or you're not a United fan, Martinez has been out for most of the season. Came back on Saturday, played 20 minutes in the second half, and is now out with a calf injury for a month. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. Oh, 1-0 to Spurs. Straight away, on the attack. Lovely play, lovely football, liquid football from Spurs here. And they lead 1-0. It's Brennan Johnson. And that is magnificent from Spurs, who look like they are absolutely on it. Absolutely on it. A fantastically quick start here. And Spurs lead already. I mean, look, there might be some United fans saying, "Oh my God, everything's going against us." We're not catching Spurs, no chance. Lovely play by Werner. Lovely cutback, onside. No way is that offside. Absolutely fantastic play by Werner there. Wing play, creative, lovely cross, lovely feet from Brennan Johnson. 1-0 to Spurs away from home, and an early goal in the first 5 minutes. Well, there you go. That's how you go and get it done. Ange ball. Chucking it down with rain as well. Goal for Johnson. Assist for Werner. 1-0. What do you think about the injury, Mark? I just don't... Look, as a Man United fan, doing the United stand, it's a constant conversation about whether Ten Hag in, Ten Hag out. To be honest with you, I'm sort of past it now. I just don't think you can do anything with this. You know, we had an international break. Nobody came back injured. First game, Lindelof and Martinez out for a month each. We're picking up 2 injuries a week all season. Like, it's... And there's no continuity to it. You know, you get 2 back, 2 more get injured. You know, you get 1 back, 3 get injured. It's been all season. It's just incredible. Burnley's good form is continuing. They're at home to Wolves tonight. They got a draw at Chelsea with 10 men. They're fighting late on, and it's Larson who has scored. Brun Larson has scored a goal. It's 1-0 to Burnley there. So every game's got a goal in it at the moment, apart from Bournemouth Palace. A free kick from Ward-Prowse here, and Vicario does well, and I think it's gone for another corner, yes. They don't protect these goalkeepers, do they? We know that. Hi, Mark. Will you be doing a watch-along for Rangers-Celtic on Sunday? I doubt it, Lewis, because it's all going to be about Liverpool and Man United at Old Trafford. That actually was blocked by Romero's arm, but I don't think it was anything intentional there. Forest are 3-0 up. Chris Wood's got 2. And Will's got him in Goldbridge. So, yeah. Evening, Mark, says Rebecca. Will you be doing any That's Football merch or Goldbridge Saves Football? Massive fan of the pod and your content, says Rebecca. There is a hoodie on the United Stand Shopify page, which is not United specific. It's actually... it's a bit like a That's Football hoodie. It says back of the net on it. But that's the only thing we've really got at the moment. So, yeah, we'll probably look at that. Good play by Antonio here. Referee's played on. And then he's given an offside. Oh, I thought it was going to be 2-0 Spurs there. Porro, edge of the box. Keeper's beaten, just wide. Are they forcing Ten Hag to play Rashford and Bruno, says Keel? That was very close from Porro, that. Fabianski at full stretch, but just wide. Yeah, Nottingham Forest are 3-0 up against Fulham here. I mean, Fulham are a weird team, aren't they? Really, really weird. It wasn't Woods got one, Gibbs White and Hudson-Odoi for Forest. Woods not got two. Half-time there, 3-0. Incredible, Fulham. I mean, went to Old Trafford, beat us, played really well. Beat Spurs just before the international break. And then in their last 2 games away from home, they've been 3-0 down twice. Joe Wright says, Lissandro and Lindelof news. Yeah, just been speaking about it, mate. Absolutely incredible. Jurgen Klopp's looking forward to Sunday. Mate, I mean, our defence is probably going to be Maguire and Evans. Martinez has done his calf and he's out for a month. And Lindelof's done his hamstring. In your opinion, which England players on both these teams should go to the Euros, says Flores? Well, Ward-Prowse definitely should be going, but won't be going. And for Spurs, well, obviously it's going to be Maddison, isn't it? Aston Villa fan AVFC Gaming says, come on West Ham, do us a favour. I need to lighten the mood a little bit here. I feel really pissed off about that Martinez injury. Please do subscribe, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. Appreciate that. Get your comments in as well. We'll read some of those. You got any either-ors? More than happy to bring those in. Newcastle 1-0 up at half-time as well. Spurs on the attack, doing very well here. I wouldn't count West Ham out yet. Oh, of course, obviously, that might cheer me up a little bit. Agony Bridge, we'll bring that back. We were talking about it on Saturday. What's the funniest and worst breakups you've ever had? Advice. It's helped a lot of people. The porn advice has helped a lot of people, I've got to say. If you want to know it, if you know, you know. Let me go. Let me come back here. So good start for Spurs. Will says he was going to pick Johnson. What gonna shoulda woulda. I know what I was going to look at. I take it Areola's injured. Yeah. He gets injured a lot, Areola, doesn't he? Who's going to win, Roman Reigns or Cody Rhodes, says Tuna. I mean, everyone's getting excited about WrestleMania. Oh, God, good shot by Son. I don't know how he gets a shot off at the edge of the box, straight at the keeper. Jack, the lad, says, when do we start talking about Isaac being world class? Not many strikers in the world, managers, would take him 3 or 4 ahead of him. He's our very own Thierry Henry, says Jack. He's a very good player. I mean, I'd be interested. I mean, look, Newcastle want to build a team around people like him and Bruno Guimaraes. But, yeah, he's a very, very good player. What about Varane and Maguire, says Sean? Well, Maguire's fit. Varane, I don't know. Mike, thank you very much for your super chat. Slow Sports News from CA says Martinez is injured again. Yeah, we know. Bowen with a shot. Welcome to the moderators, Linda. Just giving you that. When do we start? I've done that one from Jack. Mark, Martinez has looked like a pretty decent signing since signing for United, but how good is it if he's only available for a quarter of the season? Well, it's 3 separate injuries, Abraham. You know me, I don't do player FC. I don't know what it's like at other clubs, but at United, we get a lot of fans who are just player FC. Bruno, this, that, and the other. I don't do player FC. Martinez is one of my favourite players, and he's a transformative player for Manchester United, but he's basically been out all season. So lovely play by Werner again. He's causing all sorts of problems. You'd fancy West Ham on a rainy night at home, but Spurs have been very incisive so far. James, thank you very much for your super chat. Van der Ven or Romero? I quite like that one. I know it's very Spurs specific, but either or. Van der Ven or Romero? Man City will not beat this Spurs team, says Luno. Well, you know what? United aren't getting top 4 or 5, so to me, I'm looking at I'm looking at Villa tomorrow, and I'm hoping they might get something at the Etihad. Do you think Watkins starts for any of the big 6? Says Flores. Well, he starts for Arsenal. He starts for Spurs. Definitely starts for Villa. Does he start for City? No, because they've got Haaland. Does he start for Liverpool over Nunez? Probably not. I could see him working for Liverpool, but I think the only two... Yeah, Watkins is out for the game tomorrow. Fucking hell. City are bloody lucky, aren't they? They're bloody lucky, Man City. If he's out for that game tomorrow, I mean, that's just typical City, that is. Slow Sports News, from Slow Sports News, says SIA. Played the game. Bob says, how can you hate McTominay but like Gallagher? Well, I don't hate McTominay and I do like Gallagher. I think he's a much better player. Bob. I'm not a United fan, but I read that Varane has concussion. What is going on with United's medical team? I thought Liverpool's injuries were bad, says Rebecca. As are horrific, you know. You're just not allowed to talk about it because the media want to sack Ten Hag, but they are horrific. Absolutely. I got a goal in the Crystal Palace game. They're away to Bournemouth. And they've just scored a goal. And if I sing this, I think you'll know who scored. It's why I'm easy. I'm easy like Sunday morning. Yeah. That's right, it's Mateta. No, it's not. It's Eze. It's Eze. Eze scored. And it's 1-0. Shane Smith has just called the season off. Spurs are looking very confident here at the moment. Oh, my God. If I get told again by someone in the chat that Martinez is injured, like, hello, we've been live for 20 minutes. We know. We know. Eze's such an underrated player, says Terp. Yeah, he's a little bit older than I thought. I actually thought he was about 26. I think he actually is 26. You thought, right. No, I actually thought he was like 22. But I'm sure he's 26. 25. He's going to be 26 in the summer. Oh, it's been disallowed. He hasn't scored. It wasn't easy. But we have got a goal at Burnley. It's not the way Burnley would like it. It's certainly not the way Vincent Kompany would like it. It's a goal for Wolves. We haven't got the scorer yet, but obviously it can be disallowed. Crystal Palace's goal has been disallowed, so Eze hasn't scored. It wasn't that easy. It wasn't easy like Sunday morning at all. She said no. But let's go. It's a goal. It's Alt-Nouri for Wolves, the left back, and he's made it 1-1 against Burnley. They just can't get the wins, can't they? But they've got the second half. Eze won't be going to the Euros now. I was watching another one of those vet programs last night. I couldn't get to sleep, and I was like, "Oh, what shall I watch?" You know, I could watch a really good film, or I could go West Ham. Not the cat's. Talking about animals, not the cat's best friend. He might be the dog's best friend, but he's certainly not the cat's best friend. Although he has stirred a bit of a cat amongst the pigeons here. It's Zuma who has scored from the corner. It's not bloody Kudus, strip football. Are you blind? 1-1. Zuma has scored. The cats are booing. My cat's just walked out. It was in a nice little... It was on my basket, my cat. There. Contently asleep. He must have a Zuma vision because he was asleep and he's just got up and walked out in protest. And I can tell by the look on his face, he said, that's it, I'm out. I'm not interested in football anymore. It's a disgrace to the game. Where's the integrity gone? But it is 1-1 from a corner. And I'll guarantee you now, Ward-Prowse took the corner. Someone's going to say he didn't. It was Bowen. 1-1. So Spurs, for all that good work, they are 1-1 up. Oh, Jared Bowen did take the corner, Mark. Idiot, Bridge. Yeah, it wasn't Ward-Prowse. It was Jared Bowen. There we go. Thoughts on Conor Gallagher's situation in the tunnel? No, thoughts on Conor Gallagher's situation in tunnel. Is that a euphemism, sheep? Or is that actually something happened in the tunnel? Joe Maguire says, hi, Mark. Would you take Branthwaite over Martinez? You know what, Joe? I think at this point, if you're Harry Maguire or you're Victor Lindelof, you might not be leaving this summer because there's got to be question marks over Martinez now. He's picking up a lot of different injuries. Foot, knee and calf, which happens a lot. Unfortunately, it happens a lot. If you've ever been around injuries in football, it's not uncommon to have a secondary injury quite quickly after a major injury. As your body is imbalanced. So I would take Branthwaite. I think Branthwaite as a left footer's got to come in. He's got to come in, Joe. Yeah. Martinez is injured. What a wheelchair emergence, says Nelly. Thank you very much for that. Vicario sucks at defending corners. Nearly 10,000 watching. Make sure you share the video and smash a like. Talking of cats, by the way. I was watching that program again last night. It's like Animal Hospital or something. I can't remember what it's called. It was on Catch Up anyway. And you know, I said to you the other day about these people who I don't know how much they spent, but basically they had a pet mouse, right? And the mouse had something wrong with one of its eyes, so they paid a vet to fix one of its eyes. Its other eye was fine. The vet said, I wouldn't really bother doing anything about it. They're so small and it's such an expensive operation. And basically what he was saying, it's a fucking mouse. Anyway, they did it. They did it because they really cared about this mouse. And they were sat outside belling their eyes out while it was having an operation. Is it going to make it? Is it not going to make it? Well, if it dies, it's your own fault because it could have just been a one-eyed mouse. But I was watching another one last night and... even better. Well, not in a funny way, but in a observational way. So these people had a pet fish, and it wasn't very well. And basically, they brought it in a bowl because you can't bring it in you can't bring it on a lead. It needs water. So they brought it in a bowl, and it was sort of they were like, it's been like this for about 3 days now, and it was sort of half on its side. And I know I had a pet fish. When they go on the side, it's curtains. And the vet gave them a look and was like, I'll see what I can do. And basically they came back out after 5 minutes. I think they took the fish out and whacked it on the side of the table because it was now... It's funny how it went with the vet for a couple of minutes and it went from on its side to completely upside down. I think it put out its misery. And there's no way you're going to... like when you're putting a dog down, or a cat, don't put it down unless it's ill. Like, don't put... I'm not advising that. But basically, when a dog gets put to sleep, they will use an injection. I've been there. I don't put dogs to sleep. I'm not some sort of serial killer of dogs. I'll be in enough trouble with the RSPCA. I mean, I've been there when my dog's been put down. Very, very sad, but they basically are just... they do just go to sleep. It's quite humane, actually. But... there's no way the vet did that for a fish. So, he's been ill for a few days on his side. Let me take a look at him. Don't keep the door locked. He's just died straight away. Yeah. He's took it out. He's whacked it on the side of the table because he ain't going to spend any money on a bloody injection, is he? Anyway, they were distraught. They had to walk out of the interview, right? They had to walk out the interview, crying their eyes out, right? And then they went and saw them a couple of days later because it said 48 hours later. And then a picture of the fish. And they were still crying. If I was the camera guy, I'd have walked in with some fish and chips just to lighten the mood a little bit. But I couldn't believe it. They were still crying about a fish. It was only like a bloody goldfish. It wasn't like a carp or a bloody big fish. It was a bloody goldfish. And 2 days later, they were still devastated. And I said, there's a couple of quid. Get yourself down the fair. You might get 2. But unbelievable. Unbelievable. Took a fish finger to the vets once. It needed help, says Cryptic Celt. I can't stop watching these shows. I get it if it's a dog or a rabbit. But I don't understand how you can get emotionally attached to a fish. They're thick. They're absolutely stupid. They don't know who you are. They're not a bloody idiot. They're idiots. Here's Bowen. Oh my God. No, he's got hold of it, Vicario. Heartbroken to see Conor Gallagher video in the tunnel. He snubbed a kid's handshake. Hope there is a good explanation for this. Was a big fan of his, says Rube. Oh, okay. Ajit says, Mark, did you know that Man United have had more shots where it would have been a goal if it had been on target than any other team this season, says Ajit. And is Lindelof out for a month? True. Yes, Flores. Well, that's the story. And as an Arsenal fan, I pray United win this weekend, says Percival. Our defence is just such a mishmash, though, mate. It's very difficult. Yeah, if you've got any funny pet stories, let me know, because it does make me laugh internally. It's like that story from the royal family, isn't it? When Dave says Denise's mum, Dave and Denise are going out. They're in their early 20s, and he comes round and they're talking about animals. And he said, oh, Dave, did you ever have any pets at your house? He said, well, I had a dog once. His name was Smithy, but he died when he was about 3. And they said, oh, what happened? He said, oh, he committed suicide. I'm laughing myself. And they said, how did he commit suicide? He said, well, someone left the door open and he just ran out in front of a car. I mean, look, you never know. Maybe it was, but I don't think a dog would commit suicide by running in front of a car. Again, they're just not that clever. I did a project on dogs. Nah, not Thursday night down the club. I did a project on dogs when I was at school, and they're not very intelligent. They're not very intelligent. All their intelligence comes from not learned behaviour. It's more, I can't remember what they call it, but like, you know, when you pick up a lead, it's not because they're not going for a walk. They just know that lead is something to do with something positive. They're actually quite thick. Evans also out, so will it be Maguire and Kambwala, says Arturo. Gems has gifted 5 memberships. Sebastian says, where are most of your subscribers from? I would say probably England. Sheep Lane says, basically Conor Gallagher is being accused of racism. Cross comes in. What's Fabianski doing there? Punches it in the air, but it does get away. Conor Gallagher has been accused of racism because there is a clip of him in the tunnel high-fiving one of the kids and not the other one. Yeah, but you know what, Sheep Lane? I haven't seen it, but I just think that's ridiculous, you know. I would imagine it's probably been taken out of context. If you could have one player each from the 10 teams playing now, which one would you choose? Says Taito. Yeah, I'll do that in a bit. I'm not doing that now. Remind me later. We've got a goal at Fulham. At Forest. Second half. Could be another comeback. They were 3-0 down against Sheffield United. Well, they've got one back. And it's Pereira assist and Adarabio, who's made it 3-1 in the 50th minute. Be a big win for Forest, this. Be a bad result for Luton with them away to Arsenal tomorrow. They're definitely getting beat. That'll make a big difference at the bottom as things stand. Look at that. Forest would be 3 points clear of Luton. And of course, they've had their points deduction already, Forest. So Luton, even with Everton and Forest having points deductions, are still adrift with 9 games to go. So I was saying this on the podcast today. Check it out. Brand new out today. Join the Ultras. Listen to the podcast. Give it a download. Luton have been impressive this season, but can I just be blunt? For all this Luton loving, they're still cut adrift at the bottom when Everton and Forest have had 4 points deducted. So for all the Luton praise, they're not good enough to be in this league. Harsh but fair. In the box again. Oh, Johnson with the cross. Werner I thought was going to get there. Then I saw it was Werner. Stan says, of course, it's Tosin who scored the goal. Thoughts on Martinez, says Armin? I'm trying not to think about it. I'm trying to have a bit of escapism. Well, you know, just think about Zuma there and the cat thing. Centre-back. I know he wasn't doing it on a football pitch, but what's the worst thing that's ever been said to you on a football pitch? You know, I've played the game. And, you know, we've seen players doing and saying things at a high level, but it happens a lot more in amateur football. I remember I think I've told this story before. I remember in a cup semi-final once, and very, very tight game, and make sure the door's shut or get in trouble. Very, very tight game. We knew it was going to be a tough semi-final anyway, and it was very much Sam got spat on, and that was just by the mums and dads. It was a very, very tight game, and we knew it was going to be a tight game. And effectively, what happened is their striker was a bit of a hothead, and after about 20 minutes, I tripped him up. They got a penalty, and they scored, and then we equalised. And when they scored, I was sort of like annoyed watching him, and he ran to the touchline and hugged this old woman, who I presumed was his mum. So at half time, I said to my centre back, I said, I reckon we might try something here. And he was like, what? And I said, well, you know what I'm like. I'm going to try and get in his head, but I'll need a bit of help because it's better if 2 people do it. So in the second half, we stood on the halfway line, and I went, was that your girlfriend then? And he, you know, he's trying to ignore me. I says, no, I saw you when you scored the goal. Was that your girlfriend? But do you like 'em old, do you? Granny Shagger. And he started to go a little bit, and then he went, it's not my girlfriend, it's my mum. I went, oh, well, you won't mind if we have a go then. We won't mind a bit of a double team. And it started going, I'm not going to go where it went, because it got a lot worse than that, and it got a lot more graphic. Anyway, next time I had the ball, obviously being a bit of a cultured centre-back, I brought it out. I knew he was coming in from behind, so I just moved my body in the way. Went straight through the back of me, 2-footed. I lay down like I'd broken my legs. I mean, it did hurt a little bit, but red card. He'd already been booked in the first half as well. He should have got a straight red, but he got a second yellow card, sent off. Needless to say, we won. And as I went off, I said to my stepdad, who could look after himself, I said, just shield me from anybody who tries to hit me. And he was like, why? I said, well, I might have said something a bit nasty. And I could tell he looked at me with a way of like, you know, well done. But it used to be quite nasty. I used to play in the Nottingham leagues, and there was a few teams like from Clifton and stuff. They were really good players, but they were also horrible, absolutely horrible. Still 33 minutes gone here. Still 1-1. 91% possession for Spurs in the last 9 minutes. They were absolutely horrible. And I remember playing a semi-final once, and we were playing this team, and they were literally saying that they had knives in the dressing room and they were going to shank us. Well, I didn't know what shank mean. A shank to me was a lamb shank, and I was like, I don't know what it means. I don't know what it means. And then someone says it means they've got knives and they'll stab you, which I found quite alarming because I was from rural Nottingham. The only thing I had to worry about was barbed wire, so that was quite traumatic. And I remember playing like pub football. And I was up against this right back who was really slow. And he wouldn't shut up all game. And he was like, I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck you up. I'm going to fuck your family up. And then when I've done that, if you've got a dog, I'm going to fuck your dog up. And I just was like, I actually think he probably is going to shag my dog. You know, that was a bit weird. I mean, who says they're going to shag your dog? I mean, realistically, I like my dog, but if you're going to shag anything, I'm probably going to say shag my dog. And you're probably going to get a bigger prison sentence. But what's that all about? There's some weird people out there. Didn't work anyway, because I went and scored. I scored in the next 10 minutes. And then I said, can I come off? I've got a hamstring. Read the super chats, Mark. Mark, I know you do alternative watch-alongs. I know you also used to like WWE. WrestleMania 40 Saturday night with returning The Rock. Fancy doing it? Says Flash Talks. Not really. Abbas says, opinions on those blaming Ten Hag's tactics for injuries. Idiots. Absolute idiots. Who do you think will get promoted from the Championship, says Vicky Scott? It's tough, isn't it? You know, you look at it, you've got Leeds, Ipswich and Leicester, 2 from 3. I can't really pick the 2 at the moment. If I had to, I'd say Leicester and Ipswich, but could be Leeds and Ipswich, could be Ipswich and Leicester. KP says, evening Mark, I'm a United fan from Plymouth making the drive on Sunday to the Liverpool game. Let's hope we have our moments, FC. You're the old to my Trafford, says KP3. Thank you, mate. Right, another free kick here for Ward-Prowse. He might shoot from here. I think he's going to shoot. It's a long way out. And Vicario palms it. I mean, he got it on target. He's very good at his free kicks, but I felt that was a little bit too far out. Mark, I'm worried about Chelsea's future. The model is wrong. You can't win with just under 23s. Gusto is injured. Can see United winning. The owners suck, says Todd. Yeah, but we've got Martinez and Lindelof injured, mate. So I don't know who's winning there. What? I thought WrestleMania was on Sunday night. They always used to be on Sunday night when I was a kid. I remember in the early 90s, I used to stay up and watch them. You know, you didn't have to pay for them. They used to be on like Sky Sports at like midnight till 4 o'clock in the morning. And you'd stay up watching it all. And then it used to end really abruptly. Be like, oh, and they've won WrestleMania. Thanks, everyone. Good night. And you'd be like, you wouldn't hear it. You know, you'd have to wait till Raw to find out what happened. It's on 2 nights now. Oh, I hate 2 nights. I hate it over 2 nights. I've never, ever, and they do it really well, but I've never been into the women's wrestling in wrestling. I just don't. I think it's confusing. If you know, it's confused. The women's wrestling is confusing. Let's leave it at that. Not because they're bad. They're very good at the wrestling, but I don't know whether. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. How these players keep getting sympathy votes, I don't know, says Mario Franco. And who'd be the only manager you'd get rid of Ten Hag for? By the way, United players need to start using more seasoning in their food, says Miguel. Another corner for West Ham here. Vicario really doesn't like it, but they've done well to get it away, Spurs there. Who's the only manager I'd get rid of Ten Hag for? You can't say Klopp or Pep because they're massive rivals. I think the only other one I'd go for is probably Ancelotti. Another corner. Another corner for West Ham. This is where they're dangerous. I'm hungry. What's your go-to meal, says KP3. Mate, I made a really good meal tonight. You probably wouldn't like it. You start off with chicken breast. You cut it up. Olive oil. 5 minutes. Mushrooms chopped up really well. Onions chopped up really, really well. Then you add oregano, basil, cayenne pepper, garlic cloves. Obviously salt and pepper it. Let it all cook nicely. You can add peppers if you want to. I didn't. And then cooked some pasta separately, added that to it, like, you know, pasta shells or whatever. Doesn't really matter, as long as it's not spaghetti. And then passata, bit of tomato puree, and then bit of parmesan in it to mix it all up. Served it up, bit of more parmesan on the top. Lovely. Lovely. Very filling as well. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. Good game we've got going on here. Spurs went off on a good start, 1-0, but West Ham scoring from their corner specialist system. Joe Wright, I don't know what you mean about Tribal Chief. You can't beat adding a bit of basil, oregano, garlic. You can't beat it. You know, you don't need... I used to be somebody that likes to put mayo on or, you know, ketchup, and I got fed up of it. They're okay, but you can get a lot of flavour in your food by just adding a bit of seasoning, you know, a few herbs, you know, bit of garlic. My favourite dinner at the moment is an omelette with garlic mushrooms in the middle and a bit of cheese. Lovely lunch, that is. Is Clifton a bit rough, says Kenneth. I don't think you can say that about anywhere these days, because a lot of the places I grew up in, which were a bit... I wouldn't say rough. I mean, rough... I'm working class, so, you know, rough is a bit of a... It's a very offensive thing to say. All I'm saying is that when we used to play Clifton, and I'm sure they used to be called... Now, if you're from Nottingham, you might know they were a very good team, and I think they were called Clifton All Whites, and that's because they wore all white, but they're not called that now because obviously it could be deemed as racist. But when I played Clifton All Whites, it wasn't a team full of white people. It was very diverse. But when we played them, like some of their players were very handy with what they had in their dressing room. Now, to be honest, I'd rather they said I've got a big vibrator in the dressing room and I'm going to shove it up your arse than a knife. Neither would be pleasant, but one would be preferable. I'd deal with it better. Wouldn't enjoy it, but you know. Triple H or John Cena do a pole marks as shish. I don't think people like a wrestling enough, mate. Joe Wright, thanks for your super chat. What are you going to do after this? I'm going to find some more videos and see if I can just be fascinated by people who get really upset about irrelevant pets dying. I don't know how you could be crying 2 days later after your fish dies. I don't get it. Like, a dog has personality. A cat, I don't really like cats massively, but they do purr. Rabbits are cute. I suppose gerbils are cute. But a fish, what's endearing about a fish? Oh, I'm going to miss Freddy the fish. I just love the way he gormlessly swam around this glass bucket. You could tell he was always so happy when I got home from work. He bloody wasn't. He looks the same all the time. Can you give a shout out to Chesterfield for getting promoted to League 2, says Josh. Shout out to Chesterfield. Chesterfield was quite local to me. I nearly said I had a trial with them, but it wasn't. It was Northampton and Peterborough. Hulk Hogan, Steve Austin, Undertaker, buy, bench, sell, says Flash Talks. I'd sell Steve Austin. I would bench Hulk Hogan, and I would sell. I would start the Undertaker because they were my three favourites. I never really liked Steve Austin. I thought he was a big, arrogant Show off. Martinez is injured, Mark. What? When? No one ever told me that. Werner. I'd be quite happy with this if I was West Ham. Spurs are a very good team. They've come back from 1-0 down, West Ham. I think they're doing all right. We got any goals going in, Mark? Still 3-1 between Forest and Fulham with 20 minutes to go. Still 1-0 to Newcastle against Everton with 20 minutes to go. Bournemouth and Palace is 0-0. Palace did have a goal ruled out for VAR from Eze. Wolves and Burnley are 1-1, and obviously we're 1-1 here, just about to hit half-time. Hi, Mark. How much will Jurgen Klopp leaving affect Liverpool next season? Well, I spoke about this on the podcast today. Please do support the podcast. Become an ultra. Out every Tuesday and Friday. It was a cracking episode today. And I think the Jurgen Klopp leaving is going to have a massive impact on Liverpool. It doesn't mean that they can't do what Spurs have done and have a really good season under a new manager. But yeah, it will be massive. I mean, you don't lose a good manager like that and then, you know, it not have an impact. AFC Max has just gifted 5 memberships, by the way. Absolute legend you are. And also says, hi, Mark. I just wanted to send this for one of my most loved YouTubers out there. You don't get the appreciation he deserves. Love the show with Cycling GK. Thanks, mate. Love that. Appreciate it. Don't get a lot of appreciation. I think you get taken for granted, don't you? But I appreciate you lot, you know that. With the Martinez situation, United have to sign 2 centre-backs. Well, I think they have to do that anyway, Terence. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Yeah, big up AFC Max if you got a gifted membership. I still think Spurs are going to win this, by the way. Get me some of your Agony Aunt questions in. Agony Bridge. I'm here to help. AFC Max has just gifted another 5 memberships as well, so that's 10. Give him some love. RK says that Almiron is the biggest. Almiron is the new Jurgen Klopp modern version. Do you have a favourite Pokemon? Says Gumpy. Nah, never been into it. I remember it used to be on your phone or something. I used to do that. Do you like Hartlepool, Mark? Never been. Jeff Stelling's team, innit? Leonardo DiCaprio, Kristen DeBale, says Ashish. Mate, it's a football channel. Van der Ven has beaten Romero, by the way. 71% to Van der Ven, 29% to Romero. Not surprised by that. I think Van der Ven's just more likeable as well. Well up by Zuma, edge of the box. Ben Tanker. Oh, I thought he'd scored. I thought he got the whip on that. That's half time. David Moyes is running inside from the rain. And let's just pause that there. Could never forsake you, Mark. P.S. Dev loves the show. This is KP3. Thank you very much. Good question here from Edward. Considering Man United have got to play Arsenal and Liverpool, who would you prefer to beat if you could only beat one? It's got to be Liverpool. I mean, look, Liverpool are our biggest rivals. Can't stand Man City, so don't necessarily like Arsenal that much, but they're the lesser of 3 evils. So, yeah, I would obviously take a loss against Arsenal and beat Liverpool. Martinez has made a glass. Another injury, says Bart. Thank you very much for that. Ladios is watching Godfather 2 whilst listening to the stream. Good film. Don't know how you do that though. How do you watch a film and do that? I understand how you could play a game and listen to a stream, but I don't know how you could watch a film and listen to a stream. I'm very crap at multitasking like that. Would you take Konza from Villa? Yes, I would. I would, yeah. Hi, Mark, says Tom. Thanks for the super chat, Tom. Do you think players should have a performance release clause in their contract? Yes. Yes, I do. Johnny says Maddison's getting wound up like a kid's toy. Tottenham or West Ham, says Madfit. I think Tottenham will win it in the second half. FD says, what question? First agony bridge question of the night. We love these, especially at half time. FD says, Mark, my girlfriend wants me to be rich, but I'm not. What should I do? Basically, get rich or she's going to leave you and shag someone else. Is one option. Another option is you don't get rich, but she genuinely loves you and just stays with you because love is more important than money. I can't tell you what's going to happen because I don't know who your girlfriend is, but probably going to be one of the... If I was doing an either or, it would be those two options. She will understand that money's not more important than your love, or she will value money more and shag a rich man. Or woman. Again, I don't know your girlfriend. She might fancy a bit of both. Or she might not fancy a bit of both, but if a rich woman came along, she'd put up with it just to be rich. I don't know, you know, but you have the answer sometimes. I smoke weed for anxiety and it gives me more help, says Pizza. Love to the new subs. Sorry for the people who didn't. Where do you stand on pineapple on pizza? Personally, it's top 5. I, AFC Max, controversially, am a fan of pineapple on pizza. Yeah. And look, somebody just is going to say it in the chat, so I'm going to jump on them. If I'll ask the question, right? If you were poor, Mark, but you were happily with the person that you love, and then a rich man said, you'll be a billionaire, but you need to leave the love of your life and marry me for 2 years, and you'll be rich for the rest of your life, but in those 2 years, we're going to make love. Will you do it? A bit like pineapple on pizza, it's a no from me. Got nothing against anybody that fancies a bit of that for 2 billion, but for me, there's a price that is non-negotiable, and you're not doing that there for me to be a billionaire. And that's not being homophobic or anything. That's just making a choice. You might be disgusted by pineapple on pizza, but as long as you respect the fact that I like pineapple on pizza, that is fine. No. I've given you all a little bit of something to ponder, though, haven't I? Because you're all now thinking, would I be a billionaire for 2 years of same-sex sex? How do you take your steaks, Mark? Rare or medium rare, Callum. Was listening to the podcast on the way home from work, Mark. Got to ask, what was Will smoking when he said Haaland would walk in any of the big Premier League teams? PSN, this is the balance of the podcast. You've got somebody who really understands football on many different levels, and then you've got what I call basic Will, who just goes, they're world class, they must there start. Showing love from Atlanta, Georgia. Says Judah, love your work, Mark, and making my day with your videos. Thanks, mate. Good to have the FIFA career mode back, actually. Really enjoying that. If anyone's not been watching it, check it out on my channel. Some good stuff coming in here. It is half time. Let me just give you a run through of the Premier League games, because we're doing watch-alongs tomorrow night as well. It's Villa against Man City at Man City. Apparently, Ollie Watkins is out. But they're the scores at the moment as they stand. So Forest are going to win because there's 12 minutes to go and they're 3-1 up against Fulham. Newcastle are against Everton. I mean, what's the story with Everton? I mean, they must have lost a lot of games recently. They never seem to win. Bournemouth are 0-0 with Palace. Burnley are 1-1 with Wolves. And obviously we're at half-time and it's 1-1 between West Ham and Tottenham. Are you going to do the Grand National? If so, who are you backing, says Joe. I haven't done it for ages, mate. Yeah, I haven't done it for ages. Do you ever play FIFA EFC against the subscribers, says Max? No, I don't. Look, I do like pro clubs, and people, you know, the Gurf and Turf's doing fantastic, isn't it? It's an amazing idea and fair play to them, but I probably won't be playing again because if I'm going to do something, I want to do it properly, and I just don't like... Well, I was playing last week and I was centre mid, and then I can't play all the time, so the team gets established. Then I was right back, and now Bazinga's played at right back, so I'll probably end up at fucking left back, and I'm like... you know, you've either got to commit to it or you haven't. And fair play to all of them who are doing fantastically well with it. But I'd love to do it, and I'd love to, you know, either continue with that or do my own TUSFC pro clubs, but you've got to be on it all the bloody time. So, yeah, playing against subscribers and that. That's why I just do career mode, because you can pick it up and leave it for a few days. Frentas says, I'm a very attractive, hot friend. We've talked all our personal stuff. No, Frentas has got a very attractive friend. We've talked all our personal stuff. I like her, but I haven't told her. I'm trying to keep a distance. What should I do? Well, what's the problem? I don't understand what the problem is. If it's an attractive friend and you've gone through a load of personal stuff, but you haven't told her, what's the problem? You're always going to find her attractive, or him, and don't try and get stuck in the friend zone with someone that you find attractive, because you're just punishing yourself. Tell them. If they replicate it, back of the nets. If they don't, well, move on. Are you coming to LA this summer, says the league? I don't know yet. When I know, you'll know. Can you shout my boyfriend Miles Savage at the game up TH, says Duncan. And Fast Show or Harry Enfield, says Ian of Liverpool. I never really watched the Fast Show, so I'd have to say Harry Enfield. Got another bit of... Greg says, I can't understand why they're changing the way they ref halfway through the season with the letting things go versus giving them out willy-nilly. Yeah, inconsistent PGMOL. Spoke about that on the podcast today. It's disgusting. Oh, we've got a bit of an agony bridge question here, and it's to do with pets. Damien says, hi Mark, I've got a tortoise named Raphael, currently 9 months old, and didn't realise how long they live for. We'll have to leave him in my will. How long do they live for? This is interesting. How long does a tortoise live? 80 to 150 years. Oh, God. Some species are known to live even longer, up to 250 years. I can't speak. That's incredible. Right, my nephew's got a tortoise. He was bored of it after 2 months. There must be an absolute surplus of tortoises. I mean, what do people do with them? Come on, you know what humans are like. You know what we're like. That's incredible. Don't get a tortoise unless you like them. And they're boring. They're really boring. They can hardly move. They're not interested in being sociable. That is incredible. They're from the dinosaur era, says Jar. Well, it sounds like Raphael's bloody animal. If you give it long enough, it probably... Well, it can't have done because it's just born, but his dad's probably from it. Slipwave says, Man United paid £80 million for a tortoise. But poor Harry. It's a good name for a tortoise though, isn't it, Harry? Harry the tortoise. Can you eat them, says Marco. I would guarantee there are certain countries in the world that would eat a tortoise. I have seen one of them big tortoise things swimming. Turtles, I think they are. And I've seen a great white shark just snap them in two like a pretzel. I wouldn't eat a tortoise. I wouldn't eat a horse. Wouldn't eat a dog. The sad thing is, somebody told me when I was in the police that you probably have eaten horse inadvertently a few times, and potentially cat and dog. Which I think is just a myth, to be honest. Tips to hip young fans, learn more about football legends, says NKS. Yeah, it's funny enough, we are a football channel. I was doing a bit of a shoot today with Loz, and on the wall of the podcast there is a picture of Maradona, and I was asked the question, why have you got what made you choose Beckham, Messi, Maradona and Gaza? And I said, well, Beckham was my favourite player when I was like late teens. Gaza was my favourite player when I was like 10. Messi's arguably the best player in the world. And Maradona is the player that I think is the best player I've ever seen. And obviously the debate started. And I said, well, look, Messi and Ronaldo are two players that have completely and utterly devoted themselves to football. You know, they've lived their life and they've been ridiculously consistent for many years, way more consistent than Maradona was. But that's not necessarily the benchmark. You're asking me who is the best player I think I've ever seen play, and it's Maradona. There is a clip that you will have seen of Maradona, right, where he's warming up and he's blasting the ball 50 metres in the air and it's coming straight back down to the foot where he does it again. I remember trying that in my early 20s, and Messi wouldn't be able to do that. Ronaldo wouldn't be able to do that. It's unbelievable. It's like the ball is part of you. Like, it's unbelievably hard to do that. To blast the ball straight up in the air 50 metres and then not control it, but blast it again. Unbelievable technique. Unbelievable technique. Everton have apparently got a penalty. We'll keep an eye on that one. I'm sick of footballers cutting holes in their socks, says Jason, like their calves are so large that they can't be retained. I paid $10 for this comment. Money well spent. Jason, that is my comment of the evening. I absolutely love the fact that you're owning those footballers who cut holes in their calves to make themselves look like they've got big calves. Big prats. Anish says, oh, here we go. This is going to make me feel sick. Tortoise are a delicacy, but people tend to be allergic. I had it once. Tastes like a mix of mutton and chicken. 15 minutes later, puffed like a balloon. Anish. Well, that's what you get for eating a tortoise, because actually I think they're quite friendly. Frentaz is coming back on the person that he finds attractive but doesn't know what to say. She's already said we're friends and I'm not her type. She's looking on other guys. Get rid of her. Frentaz, get out of the friend zone. Get rid of her. If she says she just wants to be a friend and you're not her type, get rid of her. You're wasting your time. It's not going to change your mind. Liam Roberts says, if West Ham win, I'm going to have a tug. Would you transfer De Bruyne for Son in FPL, says David. I haven't done my FPL in ages, mate. Absolutely ages. So, yeah. Everton have got a penalty. We're just waiting to see if it goes in. Be a late equaliser for Everton, actually, because there's 88 minutes gone. Newcastle did have a goal disallowed from Dan Burn in the 58th minute, but this is 1-1. Calvert-Lewin, he scored it. It's scored by Calvert-Lewin, 88 minutes, and that could be a very big point for both teams, because Newcastle would still be hoping to track in on European places, and they'd want to be winning their home games. They've got a few injury problems, Newcastle. They're at home. They're away to Fulham on Saturday. Then they've got Tottenham, Crystal Palace, Sheffield United, Burnley, Brighton, Brentford. Very winnable games for Newcastle on the run-in. But you've got to win those winnable games. 1-1. PSN says, sad about fish dying. I can't even say what he's talking about then. Anyway, Frentas has been friend-zoned, and we found out that you can eat tortoise, but it could be allergic. The bubbles will come out. Fairy Liquid FC. What's your favourite football memory or game you've watched that wasn't either Man United or England? Ooh, Mr. Mojo. That's a good one. I think my favourite... Actually, I know what it is. Because everything's always better when you're younger, isn't it? And my favourite moment I remember from football, I don't like Liverpool, but the older I've got and the worse United have come, and the fact that I like Klopp, I don't like Liverpool. I don't want them to win the league, but I have probably respected them more as I've got older for various different reasons. But without doubt, in the late 80s, I absolutely despised them. And my favourite memory of Liverpool, outside Man United or England, was it 89 or 90? I think it was... Would it have been 89 or 90? Maybe it was 90. Mickey Thomas, Anfield. Knocked it past Groblar and Arsenal won the league. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved that. So ask an honest question. I'll give you an honest answer. There we go. Time is right. For me, it's Ronaldinho, pure football skills, says Tevin. KP3 says, Mark, my girlfriend hates making love. What can I do? Could if you're open to it, you could get someone else to try it. You watch, see if she enjoys it. The problem is if you don't enjoy it. Mark, Jack Grealish should be the only one allowed to cut his socks, says Ju. And yeah, good questions coming in tonight. Or, if you don't like the idea of that, you could get a rampant rabbit. Try a few different settings. Happy birthday for Thursday, Gabby. Throw into West Ham there. Which way do you think this is going to go? I've got Spurs. Oh, he's one more pass. Oh, he should have passed Antonio there. Kudus was in a much better position. He did get a good shot off, but I do think the pass was better for Kudus. That's another corner. They'll take that. They'll take that. Good save by Vicario. Right, Bowen's on the corner here. Again, nicely drifted. Oh, how's that not gone in? It's gone in! Oh, offside. I thought he'd given a goal. Header from point blank. That's, yeah, Antonio's miles offside. And the ball didn't go over the line anyway. I thought the referee had said it had gone over the line, but Antonio was miles offside. Don't be fooled by the rags that I got. I'm still Journey from the block. Anything going on in any of the games? Well, we're 4 minutes into added time at Newcastle and it's 1-1. Be a good point for Everton, bad point for Newcastle. We're 3 minutes in at the City Ground. They're going to win. They're 3-1 up against Fulham. 12 minutes to go between Burnley and Wolves, still 1-1. And 12 minutes to go between Bournemouth and Palace, still 0-0. West Ham are pushing here at the moment. It's Spurs who are looking a bit ragged. Bowen. Paqueta! Just wide. I thought he'd scored then. It would have been a great goal. Please do subscribe to the channel, by the way. Bottom right-hand corner. We are on the road. We're on the road to 128,000. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved with That's Football. Everybody's welcome here, as you know. Doesn't matter who you support. Even if you're a City fan. Would you ever admit it? Is it true that Ollie Watkins is out tomorrow? Martinez is injured. That's unreal, says Ash. What's your opinion on the new Champions League format, says Langford. Well, it's going to happen. I'm not a massive fan of it, but I suppose we just have to see. The proof will be in the pudding, I suppose. Yeah, that's how the league table looks at the moment. Newcastle would be still 4 points off 6th place. Tottenham would be in a decent position if they... what's your opinion on the... I've done that one. That's a wild cross into the back post. That'll be a goal kick to Spurs. Mark, Man United need to fire players and the medical staff before Ten Hag, says Nathan. Oh, Bournemouth have got a goal here. Apparently. Yes, they have. We completely missed that. Bournemouth have scored. Have they won it at the end? His dad played for Ajax and Holland. He may have done as well. It's Kluivert, but it's Justin. 10 minutes to go there. Right, Spurs having an attack. Maddison does well. Gets a shot off. Cleared. Son. Yellow card. Antonio. Full time between Forest and Fulham. A big 3 points for Forest, that. My boyfriend got his baton out in the away end, says Duncan. And thank you very much for that. I mean, that is quite a bad tackle by Antonio. I think it's a genuine attempt to get the ball. And I think the referee's actually done quite well there, just giving a yellow card. Because it was quite nasty. But doesn't have to be intent, as we already know. But I think it would have been a harsh red. But I think it's a right yellow. Katie says, hi, can you say hello to my son Kyle? He's 6 and loves listening to your videos. Huge Man United fan. Yeah, I will say hi to Kyle. Hope you're doing well. Worries me a little bit, though, because I can be a little bit sweary. Apologies. That's a lovely cross in. Oh, my God. You can't argue with that cross from Brennan Johnson. It was right across the 6-yard box. But nobody got on the end of it. Sharath Kamath Fitness, hope you're doing well, mates. Legend. Known this person in the chat for years. Mark, sorry to talk about United, but what is your honest assessment of Onana? Hold on a minute. Son, Maddison, blocked. If he's been so good, why are we still conceding so many goals? And why aren't we playing good if he's good at passing? I think Onana has improved a lot, but I don't think he's a good goalkeeper. I think there's aspects to his game that he needs to improve. I do not like his... I don't like the way he palms the ball back into danger. I didn't really feel he was that good at getting down low, although he made a very good save against Brentford getting down low. So hopefully he's just going to get better. But I still think there are concerns. But what I would say about Onana is that he is getting better. So hopefully he's just going to keep improving. Who do you think is better, Bergkamp or Henry, says Max? Well, it's definitely Bergkamp. I mean, sorry, it's definitely Henry. Definitely Henry. I was nearly going to do an either or. We were doing what's the worst thing somebody's ever said to you on a football pitch. Somebody did threaten to shag my dog and somebody in the chat got spat at. So what's worse, being spat at or having someone threaten to shag your dog? Context is key. The words did come out, but incredible stuff. I tell you what, Spurs are getting closer and closer. Basuma! Just wide. Thanks for all the super chats tonight, by the way. And thanks everyone who's getting involved and subscribing. Remember, it's Man City against Villa tomorrow night. We'll be doing that one at the same time. Yeah, Watkins will miss the game against Man City. City are so bloody lucky, aren't they? So bloody lucky. When are they going to nominate Dennis Irwin for Hall of Fame? Dennis Irwin was better than Ashley Cole and Gary Neville. Oh, mate, it's a joke. Even Gary Neville knows it. He's said it on Twitter before. You're absolutely correct, Zach. It's a joke. Recency bias bollocks, I call it. RBB. Mark, please bring TUSFC career back. It was fab last year. Diane, it will be coming back. Just got to finish the current career mode, which should be done in the next sort of few weeks. So we should have it back soon. Paqueta, edge of the box. He's going to shoot. Bit greedy. Bit greedy. Annihilator says, please God, make Southgate Man United manager. Annihilator, if you're praying for that and God does it, then I'm going to say, please God, make Annihilator. I can't say that one, it's too harsh, but and I'm not going to say it on the stream. But please make Annihilator. No, I can't say that either. I'll do it to myself. I'm going to say it and then hopefully it'll happen to you. I'm not going to say it on a stream. Predictions for tomorrow to Spiritual Mutant. Oh, Man City will win if Watkins is injured. Might be an early turn off, that one. I feel Spurs are getting closer to a goal here. Still half an hour to go. TM says, fam, do a poll. No chance Irwin was better than Ashley Cole. Well, I never heard anybody call anybody fam when Dennis Irwin was playing football. So straight away, I suspect you were up your mum's chuff. So I'm not taking your opinion because you're exactly what's wrong with football. People who didn't watch Dennis Irwin, who saw Ashley Cole and therefore assume that Ashley Cole's better. If you didn't see Dennis Irwin play, you can't sit there calling me fam. Mark, even though I'm a Liverpool fan, I respect you honestly and objective opinions. You're the best analysis on YouTube. Thanks, mate. Means a lot, actually. The vague. Do you like my number plate? Says Duncan. NE14ABJ. Very clever. What do you do if a bloke pulls up next to you and says yes? Maybe that's what you want, Duncan. Maybe that's the sort of place you sort of hang around. No, look. No one was calling anyone fam when Dennis Irwin was in his prime. I'm sorry. Son against Zuma. Zuma wins it. Look at Zuma now. Nice little ball into Antonio. But great work by Van der Ven. Great player. Lovely turn by Maddison. This could be problematic. He's spun away from Soucek. Into Son. He wants to get a shot off. He goes to Johnson. Back to Son. Back to Maddison. Edge of the box. Surely that's a foul. Oh, Maddison can't believe it. He's outraged. And Antonio, well done. No, he's in. What a save by Vicario. I think he might have been offside. He looks absolutely knackered. If Antonio's onside there, he's just missed an absolute sitter. The flag stayed down. Everton have drawn 1-1 with Newcastle. That's a blow for Newcastle. That was a late penalty in the 88th minute for Everton. Wolves are 1-1 with Burnley going into the last minute. And Bournemouth are beating Palace going into the last minute as well. Antonio looks like he wants to retire. Well, I first of all think that's a foul on Maddison. I mean, it's a blatant foul. So I think if Antonio had scored this, and why Antonio must be offside. I don't think the goal would have stood anyway. Hi, Mark. Taking age out of the equation, if you was City, would you rather have Kane or Haaland? The same question for you if you was Bayern. So let's make them both 26. Harry Kane's the better player. Because Harry Kane's a system player. He can score your goals, but he's a system player. So you're going to get more out of Harry Kane than you're going to get out of Haaland. You make a good point. The reason Haaland's better than Kane is age. If they were both 26, I'd argue that Kane's the better player. Let's poll it, says Typical J. Good idea. This is exactly what it's bought for. Both, I'm going to say both 26. No, I've got caps on. Both 26. Who you take? Haaland, Kane. I mean, Haaland's getting a bit of a bad rap at the moment. He'll probably score 4 goals tomorrow. Rise says, never take age out of the equation. I've learned the hard way. Yeah, he's right. Always check the passport. Hi, Mark. That was from Willem. Evening, Mark. Forgot to mention on the United stand, but I'm more than convinced something behind sus is happening with the medical team at United. Chat, agree with me, says Corian. Pig says, who's winning this game? I still think Spurs will win it. Mark, no... What's this? Mark, knowing Mark, there's a show called The Great. I don't know where it's available in the UK. It's an amazing satirical show. You'll definitely enjoy it. Says Sharath Kamath Fitness. I think it's on Amazon Prime here. I've never heard of it. Well, this is getting silly now because somebody's just come back in the chat and said, I watched Irwin play. He was definitely better than Coldblood. Yeah, people weren't using that word either. I've got to be fair. Kane's absolutely battering Haaland here. He's got nearly 80% of the vote. Oh, well, look, Blue Bear says people forget that Haaland has won more than Kane. That's irrelevant. George Best never played in a World Cup because he played for Northern Ireland. Doesn't mean he wasn't one of the greatest players in the world. Oh, bad mistake here by Souček. I wouldn't take Souček off because it means you'd be taking off... you'd be bringing on Calvin Phillips. But I think Souček's starting to really struggle in that holding midfield role. I sense a Spurs goal coming. Son. Ooh, over the bar. Back stretch. Potter. It's always Potter. What are you looking at, Potter? You know, if we got Graham Potter, I would use loads of Harry Potter quotes against him. It's always Potter. Kane, not even close, says Lev. Can Amarim become bigger than Klopp at Liverpool, says Spiritual Mutant? Well, Sar's coming on for Spurs here. West Ham looking like they're just running out a bit of steam here. That's my honest opinion. Portsmouth have just equalised against Derby 2-2. That's a massive goal for Portsmouth with 13 minutes to go. They're both going for promotion. If you're interested in League One. What's going on with Plymouth? Because Pieface has been losing his shit. They're in the Championship and heading down, aren't they? What a ball that is to Kudus. He's kept it in. He's offside. Who do you think will be the next Barcelona manager, though? Here we go. Let's play Let's play manager predictions. Let's also play click that link and download the podcast for later because it's a cracker today. You've got to get involved with the podcast. Ultras, it's great. Mark, Canate or Gabriel? Glad United stand is coming back to USFC. Thank you very much. That's from Diane. And what's the best April Fools that caught you out, says Tom? Oh, mate. Like, literally went over to film the podcast today with Will. And he sent to me yesterday. This is why I don't trust Will when it comes to football opinions sometimes. Because I think he's a little bit naive. So yesterday he sent me something in the morning that Gabby Ogbonglahor was having a fight against Troy Deeney in September. And he sent it to me and I just did a laughing emoji. And then today he said, should we go and watch it? And I went, you having a laugh? He went, no, it'd be good fun. I went, mate, it's a bloody April Fool. I thought that was the whole point. You were trying to catch me out. I said, it's an April Fool. So, yeah. Will got caught out by something he genuinely thought was real. Gems has just gifted 5 memberships. An absolute gem from Gems. Love that. Thank you very much. Make sure you give her some love in the chat. David says you're a big legend. I think he got a membership there. But Bitcoin says, I have beheld Irwin enact Mark. Have I ever been caught out by an April Fool's? I did get caught one out. So I used to do a paper round in the early 90s, and I was looking at the back of the Sun, and it was the time when the Predators were out. Adidas Predators with the like rubber bits on the front, and everyone was going mad for them. And basically the Sun had a picture of David Seaman in these oversized gloves. They weren't like big massive hand gloves, they were just double the size, so they were a little bit bigger, and they had grips on them, and it was like, this is the goalkeeper's reaction to the Predators to help them out. And I genuinely thought it was true, and obviously it was an April Fool's. I've caught loads of people out with I mean, I can't believe this one. A family member who will remain anonymous genuinely believed me when I told them that the singer Dido used to be a porn star. So in acknowledgement of that, they removed the L from dildo and called themselves Dido to remember where they came from. To which family member said, oh, that's nice that they can acknowledge their past and have a constant reminder. I sometimes wonder how I've done so well with intelligence like that running through my family. Also, this person's not going to remain anonymous. My sister, I'd have been about 17, so she was about 14. Walks into the living room. I look really sad. She says, "What's wrong with you?" I said, "Liam Gallagher's died. He choked on a fishbone last night at the Ivy." And I carried it on for ages, and she genuinely thought it was true. She was a big Oasis fan. Not as much as I was. The trouble with it in those days is you didn't have the internet, so I was 99.9% that Liam Gallagher hadn't choked on a fishbone and died, but I'm quite convincing if I want to be. Mark, you didn't answer about Canate or Gabriel. Well, it was on the podcast, mate. We actually had this conversation on the podcast about who is the best centre-back pairing in the Premier League. And I specifically spoke about Canate and Gabriel because it's Saliba and Gabriel, or it's Van Dijk and Canate for me. And I specifically spoke about it on the podcast. DPD says, opinion on XI bullies. I have one called Liam at the moment. I don't really have an opinion on it, mate. I don't have to have an opinion on everything, and I don't really have an opinion on that because, to be honest with you, I don't really know enough about it. What I do know is a dog that's out of control and that big is a weapon. Hi, Mark. Love from Norway. What do you think about Sanderberg? Strong DM. How much would he cost to transfer to United? I don't think he's good enough, Fal. I don't think he's good enough. I think that ship sailed ages ago. I don't think Sanderberg's good enough for a top 6 side. Haaland is Filippo Inzaghi upgrade. Kane is better, says NX. Giant Axe says, what happened? Oh, hold on. Could be a goal. Oh, he probably should have had a shot there. Brennan Johnson. Still 20 minutes to go here. I really feel the Spurs goal is coming. Well done, Kudus. But he loses it then. LJM says, Kanate is genuinely unreal if you watch Liverpool. He's young as well. Just a bit injury prone. He was a little bit at Leipzig as well. Here's Werner. Can he win it? No. Good block. Goes for a corner. Mark, I told my mum that my brother's girlfriend, who we all hated, was pregnant. She freaked out. Best April Fools ever. Great one, Bryce. The thing about an April Fool, the thing is, I don't like April Fools because I like winding people up every day of the year, is if you're going to do it, you've got to do it in a very genuine way. But it's got to be believable. The worst trick, never do this. Never ever do this. And it was nothing to do with me, so don't boo me. It's not me. I was about 10. So again, my sister would be about 7. And where I grew up in Cropple Bishop, there was these woods in the field out the back of the council estate. And we lived about 5 minutes away from these woods. And anyway, I sat in the living room, probably watching something, and the door starts banging. So I got up to open it, and it was my sister's friend who was also 7. And she says, she's been taken by a man in the woods. I was like, what? Who? And they said, your sister. And I went, oh, I'm sure I'll give her back when he's had 5 minutes with her. She's really annoying. Anyway, my mum comes running through. What's happened? She said, the man's taken her in the woods. Well, my mum wasn't the fittest. Anyway, I've never seen anyone run so fast. So we ran up there. And obviously your mind's going all sorts, because in those days you used to get quite a lot of abductions. Anyway, we got up there, ran round to the entrance of the woods, and my sister sat there laughing her head off. It's all a joke. And then suddenly, in the blink of an eye, quick, I thought, this is going to be great for me. Part of me thought, that's too far, and I like banter. I thought, that is too far. And then I thought, she's going to get absolutely wrecked for this. And I will be left alone to do my own sort of stuff. It was a horrible joke, Davey, and it genuinely did happen. That is not made up. And you know, as a father now, I even say to her, that was disgusting. What was going through your head? I don't know how you sleep at night. But genuinely did happen. And God, did she get in trouble. That was the days when smacking was still illegal, but everybody did it. I think she was grounded for about a year. And of course, I was a constant reminder when she was allowed to stay up past 7 o'clock. Remember what happened. You can't let her off for that. Genuinely did happen as well. Still 15 minutes to go here. Yellow card to Spurs, Brennan Johnson. Would you have a pint with Disarcy? This is DBD. I'd have a pint with most footballers. Charlie Max says, heard about Martinez, can't wait for the morning show. Yeah, I think we'll keep it for the morning show. I'll tell you what, Bryce, though, talking about pregnant. Every time my wife's been pregnant, I've been absolutely ecstatic. But there has been times in my life when I've absolutely shit myself about that word. There's a certain time in your life when you don't want that to be the story, and it's a life changer. It happened to my mate when we were on holiday in Mallorca. We were only 18, gets the call, I'm pregnant, from his girlfriend. And what he'd been doing the night before. But, yeah. So he had a kid at like 18 years of age. Well, 19, it takes 9 months. But it's a life changer, isn't it? It happened to me a couple of times. I had a couple of close ones, but thankfully not. You want it to be the right time. I mean, look, if it happens, it happens. You know, I'm not one who's. I'm not going to start talking about, you know what, the A word, but I don't mean like doing it up the arse instead of the fanny so they don't get pregnant. I mean, you know the A word. I mean, I don't agree with that, but I don't mind the other one. But you know, hi Mark, you're a cutie, says Razia. Okay. Think we'll get battered at the weekend, says Dex. You just don't know with United, though. Like, I would say Liverpool are massive favourites to beat Man United. They're playing so well at the moment, and United aren't. So, but you just don't know. We won in the FA Cup. You just don't know. If Liverpool keep their heads, which they didn't do in the second half of the FA Cup, they should have put us to bed. If Liverpool stay focused, and Klopp was pissed off in the FA Cup game, then they'll win. They'll get a couple of goals, and then they'll just control the game. But you never know. Misfits fight against Callum's Corner, says DPD. I don't know who it is. I don't know who that is. Should I know who it is? Anyway, I'm really enjoying these watch-alongs at the moment, and if you are a fan of TikTok, there's plenty of little clips you can take from today. I don't care. I've got into TikTok recently. There's a person on TikTok I want to shout them out actually, because it's one of the funniest clips I've seen. I probably can't play it on here because I would get some sort of copyright probably. But they did an amazingly good clip about the fill-in. I don't know whether anyone's seen it. I don't even know how I can share it, but it was a brilliant, brilliant clip. Not you. Top 5 gay people. TikTok's weird. The name of the account is... at Cam Fits, so at CAMFITZZZ, and I don't know where the football fill-in one is. Yeah, it's if you're on TikTok and you go to that account, it's the 4th one down on the left. So I'll play the audio. I won't get copyright for this. He basically plays me, Ben Foster, and Watto.
I'm absolutely buzzing my tree off for today's episode. I'm once again joined by Mark and Watto. Oh my god, friggin' legends. We're going to start this episode by talking about England. Mark, what are your thoughts on Aaron Ramsdale? Well, I think it comes down to Harry Maguire for me. The guy is about as useful as a bloody toilet in a beaver's dam. Watto, what are your thoughts? For me, his hand movement needs to be better. He needs to play his positioning, has to improve. His hand placement must get better if he wants to be at that level. He's not quite elite, but he can make it up for sure, can make it for sure. The guy's a friggin' legend, absolute top guy, absolute top. He's met him a few times, absolute friggin' legend. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that, isn't it? I'd take him over Onana. Guy's bloody useless. Wouldn't save a bloody group of badgers if he had a net and a bloody crowbar. Listen, the guy's absolute friggin' legend. The guy's absolute friggin' legend. I've met him a few times, as I said. Had him on the podcast as well. Anyway, let's get into the quiz. Let's do it.
It's very good. It's very good. I saw it last week. It is very good. It's even better when you watch it with the acting bit as well. But yeah, very, very good. Spurs knocking on the door. Oh, back post. Look at West Ham's run-in, says Makel. Sounds like Schmeagol. Precious. Probably the worst Schmeagol impression ever there. Lovely stuff. West Ham's run-in is about to hit your screen now. Just like the Goldbridge Saves Football podcast. Check it out. Well, they're in the Europa League as well, aren't they? So it's going to be hard for them. So they've got Wolves away, Leverkusen. Fulham at home, Leverkusen. Palace away, Liverpool at home. Chelsea away, Luton at home, Man City away. I mean, it's a bit of a mixed bag. They'll do well to get in the top 7. Daniel J says, I wonder if Garnacho's kid was planned. Mate, when you're minted and loaded and with the girl that you want to be with, why not have a kid? Book says, Callum's corner is tic-tac head. He's 6'5". Don't fancy you in that, Mark. Bebo came into my work yesterday, but I missed him because I was on a break. Says Books. Okay. I've got no idea who this person is, and I'm not doing it from a disrespect point of view. But it's not how big they are, it's how hard they fall. I've got a good range. Mark, got to be careful these days you don't get baby trapped. Had 2 exes tried it, giving me pregnancy scares when they weren't pregnant. Notters, says Damien. Yeah, we could have a completely different stream about relationships, and I'm sure there's plenty of women in here who'd say it about men. I'm not in any way being sexist, but God, be careful when you're getting in relationships. It ain't like Ron Sale. It doesn't do exactly what it says on the tin. The first few weeks, you think you've caught an absolute belter, and then, like a fish, if you don't eat it quick, it goes rotten very, very fast. Yeah, I've had a few. Bloody hell. It's amazing at the start. You're like, oh my God. And then a month in, you think, did that good bit ever happen? For fuck's sake, what am I doing and how do I get out of this? Anas says, I made Brussels sprouts cake and fed them to my whole family. Ooh, Anas. I think West Ham are hanging on here. Spurs have got the worst running I've ever seen, says Charlie Max. I'm going to have a quick look at it. Oh, that's a terrible pass. Son won't keep that in. Ben Kulisevsky's come in. Look at the subs they're making. Richarlison, Kulisevsky. But Arsenal fan here. Always love your watch along, says McCullough. Thank you very much. Goldstein wants United to lose against Arsenal as he doesn't want Liverpool or City to win the league. Do you ever want United to lose? I never want Liverpool to lose, says Thee. Can't stand Goldstein. Used to like him. He's just a big bully, and actually, like all bullies, he's a coward as well. So I don't really care what he has got to say. Got my own opinions on him. Don't really have those opinions on anybody, but he's a brat. What's the most trouble you got into as a kid, says Cam? What am I tell you here? I think there's a completely different late night stream somewhere I could do on my channel about some of the stuff we talk on here, but really go a little bit deeper. I want to look at. I want to have a look at. Let him speak, Simon. I want to have a look at. Anyway, it's finished 1-1 between Burnley and Wolves, and it's been finished. Sorry, no, I've got that wrong. It's been finished 1-1 between Fulham and Bournemouth, and Burnley have beaten Crystal Palace 1-0. No, I've got that wrong. I've read the wrong teams across each other. It's finished 3-1 to Forest against Fulham. Bournemouth have beaten Palace 1-0, and Burnley have drawn 1-1 with Wolves. Sorry, Burnley fans, if you got excited because you'd beaten Crystal Palace, you weren't playing them. Apologies. Damien H, thank you very much for the super chat. Right, let's have a look what Charlie said. Charlie, remember Charlie? You've got to be really old to remember this. Charlie says, be careful when you're crossing the road. And then there was a stupid cat next to him. I think Charlie was the cat. Don't let Kurt Zuma see it. He'd throw the cat in the road. Allegedly. Anyway, yeah, I remember that. Charlie says, right, Danny Ings is coming on. Whatever happened to Danny Ings? Whatever happened to Danny Ings? Right, West Ham's fixtures. Next game is Chelsea at home. Chelsea are at home. Then they've got Luton at home. Well, they could win both of those. City away. No, I've got this completely wrong. I'm looking at May. Their next game is Wolves away. I've done West Ham. No, we're meant to be doing Spurs. I'm losing my head here. I'm losing it. We've done West Ham. Spurs run-in looks like this. Forest at home on Sunday. Well, they'll win that. Newcastle away. I think they'll win that. Arsenal at home. They could win that. Liverpool away. They'll lose that. Burnley at home. They'll win that. Sheffield United away. They'll win that. Charlie, they've not got a hard run-in at all. Bobby says McAllister or Bernardo Silva right now. McAllister. I know this isn't United stand, but the amount of people I've seen pinning United's injuries crisis all on the manager is beyond unbelievable. Love the content, says Jack. It's also stupid. Yeah. Nathan T says, I'm sure you saw Fabrizio's post about Martinez's new calf injury. What a joke of a club and medical staff, says Nathan. Yeah, it's incredible, really. There's an injury here. I don't know what happened. I think Brennan Johnson might have got caught by his own player. Can you remember Jack Rodwell? I mean, I'm sure you're not the Jack Rodwell. Can you remember Jack Rodwell? He was another player that was meant to be like, he was going to be the next big thing, wasn't he? Didn't he go... It's an interesting point. He was at Everton. Did he sign for City? Was he one of like the early City signings, Jack Rodwell? He was at Everton. He was going to be a really good player. He's only 30. He's only 33. Bloody hell. He's only 33. So he started off at Everton. Yeah, he went to City in 2012. He was at Everton for 5 years. He went to City. Played 16 games, then Sunderland, then Blackburn, Sheffield United, and he's now playing for Sydney FC. Jack Rodwell. Signed for Man City for 12 million in August 2012. He's still only 33. Bloody hell, that messes with your head, doesn't it? If you know who Jack Rodwell is, the fact that he's only 33 is incredible. I mean, he's basically nearly the same age as Harry Kane. Yeah, Jack says, it's not me, but yeah, he played for City and Everton, but he's in Australia now. Goldio says, what's your most irrational phobia? Mine is frogs. I can't stand the buggers. The way they move scares me shitless. My most irrational fear is sharks. Now, people would say it's not irrational because a shark would eat you, but if you delve into the stupidity of what I'm about to tell you and the fact that I'm admitting it, I watched Jaws: The Revenge about a week before Christmas on the BBC when I was about 13. When I went to bed that Saturday night, I was absolutely terrified. My heart was racing because I thought, and I lived on the second floor of a house, you know, one up, down. I kept thinking a shark was going to come down our road, in through the front door, up the stairs and eat me. Well, our stairway was only about that wide, so it'd be a bloody tiny shark if it did it. Plus, we lived in Nottingham, which is basically landlocked from the sea by about 2 hours. So, but I genuinely thought a shark was going to come and eat me at 13. That's an irrational phobia. If you've ever had them, that's the whole point. It's irrational, but I genuinely thought it was going to happen. It's going to come up the stairs. And actually, at the top of the stairs, you had to do a really sharp turn to go right near my bedroom. So it would eat my sister first. 2 great saves from Vicario, but they're offside anyway. How many Premier League midfielders are better than McAllister? Look, Kyle, I'm no Liverpool fan, but if you watch this channel or you listen to the podcast, I've been saying all season that McAllister is massively underrated. And at some point, Carragher or Neville will go, you know what? I've got a real hot take. McAllister this year is the most underrated player in the league and could be player of the year. And everyone will go, what a hot take by Carragher or Neville. And I'll sit here and go, we've been talking about it for a fucking year. So, yeah, he's a brilliant... He's probably signing of the season because of how much he cost. Declan Rice has been brilliant, by the way. Declan Rice has been brilliant. He's one of the few £100 million players that's actually gone in and hit the ground running and made a team better. So he's been brilliant. But Alexis McAllister, the cost. I haven't watched Jaws 3 in ages. I watch Jaws all the time. I think it's a brilliant film, even though I'm terrified of sharks. I mean, I did a Jaws watch-along I did a film watch-along on Twitch, because you can do film watch-alongs on Twitch on Amazon Prime. And we did Jaws together and Jaws 2. And I was fine. But not when I was a kid. Another corner. To West Ham. Hey, we're in the 90th minute. The time's flown. Absolutely flown. You've been bloody brilliant. Jaws 1 and 2 are good, Ryan. mean, Jaws, the original, is better, but Jaws 2 is like a half-decent follow-up. The rest of them are shite. Please do subscribe, by the way. We're very close to hitting 128,000. Probably going to do it tomorrow now, but bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Get involved. Everyone's welcome here. The realist community, I think, in the world. We just have a great chat about football and other things as well. It's like a family, and you're very welcome. Can West Ham win it at the end? Ward-Prowse is on this free kick because it's from the other side. He's a set-piece specialist. I don't think that's quite good enough. Oh, Vicario actually came and did well, so it must have been quite decent. West Ham have still got it. 2 minutes to go. Cross comes in. Headed away. He's going to have to go back to his keeper. In fairness, it's not a bad point for Spurs or West Ham if it ends up being a point. I do, you know, the amazing thing is when you look at that league table, and it might change in a minute, but when you look at that league table as it stands, if United had beaten Fulham, we'd be on 51. And if we turned up against Brentford, we'd be on 54. 53. We'd be 4 points behind Spurs with a game in hand. And we don't deserve to be, but as shit as we've been this year, we still should be in a race to get in the Champions League. Kane's beaten Haaland by 73% to 27%. Haaland will go and score a hat-trick tomorrow now. Here's an interesting one for you. McAllister or Rice? Couldn't help myself. Just interested to see what the score will be. 1 minute to go here. Top 5 for the Champions League, I think, is pretty much nailed on, Alim. Yeah. Oh, they're all queuing up. Oh, I thought they were going to win it at the end. It's dropped to Udogie right on the end, right inside the box, dead central. He's got a good contact on it, and he's hit it straight at the keeper. He should score this. Yeah, he should score that. I played the game, says Will. Well, we've got about 30 seconds left. Kudos has done really well here. He's all on his own. Porro, edge of the box. Soucek. Little dink. Oh, Bowen. Kudos. West Ham will break. Spurs could win this. They've got a 3v4. Oh, they've got so many options, Spurs. And he's messed it up. And now it's gone the other end. They could get a winner here, West Ham. Paqueta. He's all on his own. Oh, I think it's just tired. And that's the final whistle. They both had a chance on the break there. It finishes 1-1. And probably the right result, really. But Spurs had a great chance at the end on the break. And then West Ham had a chance on the break as well. It finishes 1-1. I think Antonio's actually ready to retire. He's so tired. But absolutely brilliant watch along. Really enjoyed it. Thanks everyone who's tuned in. Absolute legends. Make sure you subscribe. Bottom right hand corner. Smash, marry, kill. Cardi B, Megan Fox, Jaws the Shark. Also, a Rice is clear of McAllister, says MBG. Had a dream at 6 years of age. I turned into the Hulk, says Goldio. Newcastle, Arsenal, Liverpool, City, one after the other, says Charlie Max. For Spurs, yeah. And Rice has beaten McAllister 57% to 43%. MBG, I don't know who Cardi B is. I probably should do. I haven't got a bloody clue. I know who Megan Fox is, and I know who Jaws the Shark is. So, yeah. But you're not going to get me saying the word smash Megan Fox. It's very I'm not Richard Keys. It's not my thing. Right. Thanks everyone for watching. We're back tomorrow night with Man City against Villa, by the way. The full podcast of the video will go out tomorrow on this channel. We'll put the full podcast out tomorrow morning. But if you want to listen to it tonight, it's out now. You can scan that QR code next to me and go and listen to the podcast, which we recorded today, which was an absolute banger. So we'll give it a listen and support the podcast. It's yours. Ultras, ultras, ultras. Good night, everyone. I'll speak to you tomorrow.